Stuart, thank you so much for joining FF News' coverage of MoneyLIVE. How are you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Absolutely
I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
I am too, as well, because I'm really intrigued to get some of Temenos' insights. But before we go any further, could you please tell our viewers a bit more about yourself? Can we get your job role, your full name, and your organisation?
Yeah, good afternoon. So Stewart Davies, I'm the Global Commercial Director for the SaaS business at Temenos. So making sure that our proposition goes to market and meets what our clients need.
Absolutely amazing. And I know a lot of Temenos clients really appreciate all the work you guys do. But before we get into that, I want to find out what have been some of the drivers behind a SaaS platform and what's really making the banks stand up and go, we need this.
Yeah, and I think there's a few things going on in the market at the moment which are making banks look towards a SaaS service in order that they can consume it. I think the first part is about how they grow their market share and looking at the different models that they release to the market. So with the rise of open banking, PSD2 technology, they've had to look a lot more at how they commercialize that and the new business models they have and what that means from an API orchestration. And so actually doing that themselves is something that takes a lot of focus. So what they need then from the core banking and payments providers is somebody can look after that core business that they deliver, which allows them to focus on orchestrating the unique journeys which they can then deliver to their customers, and whether that's corporate or retail, but really use that focus to differentiate themselves in the market whilst they consume a SaaS service from somebody like Temenos, who can provide them that trusted ongoing service that helps them to deliver the model.
Absolutely fascinating. So you effectively enable the banks to be the best bank that they can be, right?
Yeah, and I think that the key word that comes up is it has to be much more of a collaboration. It's about how we work together. So us delivering the service clearly is important to them, but they need to understand how they work with it, how they consume it, and importantly from a regulatory perspective, how they maintain control and oversight, because it's key to them to be able to demonstrate that they know what's going on in the supply chain. So it's delivering against their business objectives, but also helping them support in achieving their regulatory obligations.
Yeah, that's so critical. In such a regulated industry as banking, you need to be able to have partners that you know you can trust, because ultimately the one thing that clients care about when it comes to who they bank with is trust. So what does working with a partner like Temenos mean when it comes to the trust and ensuring that regulatory issues are fully compliant going into the future?
Yeah, and I think this is a really important area at the moment, particularly with so many regulatory changes. So trust is the biggest part of the conversations that we have with our prospects when they're going through to becoming clients.
Right.
Without that trust and the way in which you manage that going forward, it makes it really difficult. And so the components of that trust is, as we said, about supporting them achieve their regulatory obligations. But ultimately, we're looking after the bank's most valuable asset, which is their customer data. So we have to demonstrate that we understand how that data is being managed, where it's being stored, how and where it's being processed, but also how we're keeping it secure. And so importantly, we need to enable our clients to scale for things like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So it's that trust, but also the trust that we can grow to help them meet the demand that they're receiving from their customers. So I would say that the vast majority of our conversations with our clients are about trust and helping them support their regulatory obligations.
That's amazing, because I love hearing this concept of still embracing trust, but removing the point of friction to enable the bank to scale. And I'm really intrigued to kind of hear your perspective on how Temenos is going to enable these organizations to grow. You've mentioned payments, but where else does Temenos work to really enshrine this ability for banks of all shapes and sizes, because I think that's important, to really achieve growth in this unusual global experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a few elements to that. So one is, the first part is that we deal with customers from 500 accounts up to 150 million accounts. So we deal from a SaaS perspective across 5 continents. We deal with over 30 different regulatory bodies that regulate our clients. So we have that experience. So I think it is that ability to bring forward all of that knowledge from our global relationships, and also offering to our clients a high watermark. So, if we experience a new regulatory requirement in one jurisdiction, because we're providing a one-to-many service, then what we look to do is provide that to all of our clients, so that we're providing that benefit. No matter what your size is, and no matter which market you're in, what you're able to achieve is is rewarded from sharing that regulatory experience across the globe.
That's fascinating. I don't know any other organisation that can offer that level of care where, because some of your organisations are going through different regulatory issues, you can help other clients embrace that and ultimately have that same level of growth and care. That's amazing.
Yeah, and there's clearly a lot of conversation that goes into it. So we work closely with our hosting providers, but also with our customers and with external advisors, because it's about being able to operate in a way which allows them to meet those obligations. But for many, those are still either guidelines, principles-based, or consultations that are issued by the regulators, and so there has to be that collaboration in order to interpret those and apply them to the financial institution's risk model and how they deliver that to their customers.
Truly brilliant. Now, you've talked about trust, you've talked about scale. Those two are obviously key, but let's talk about the products that software as a service really enables. How do you keep your ear to the ground to know what's next, what the customers, your customers want, what their customers at the end of the trail will want? How does Temenos keep innovating at such a pace that other banks are completely envious of and always want to work with you?
Yeah, and again, as with all things, there's no one single answer. It's a bundle of things that come together. But I think, the combination of our breadth of clients, so across our on-premise business as well as our SaaS business, really gives us that, quite unique perspective in terms of being able to bring that together in terms of our insight. We also have great relationships with the analysts and the market, so keeping those dialogues on a regular basis. And then also tools such as our CEO Navigator, which is one of our market developments with our strategy team, where we actually go out and talk to customers and non-customers about what they see as being in the trends, as well as partnerships that we do with other research agencies. So it's really trying to take in all of those experiences, plus the feedback from our current customers about what they want, our regulatory reviews of what's coming up in that way. So bringing those all together to develop that roadmap and really then test it through the Temenos Community Forum, our global event to bring everybody together, because it is a community. It's not just about the customers, it's not just about partners or analysts, it's about everybody delivering and making sure that we can support our clients.
Well, you've truly exemplified that by the fact that you enable some organizations to really embrace that added value add from other organizations within your community. I absolutely love hearing that. Thank you, Stewart, for your time. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Take care.